5 things your ancestors did better than you. Before we start, I'd like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Number 5. Have manners. Long gone are the days of writing thank you notes for gifts. In some cases, people don't even bother with thank you notes for wedding gifts, which was, for most people, the last remnant in society of formal thank yous. Once upon a time, not so long ago, a thank you note was issued for a million different reasons. If someone gave you a gift, you wrote a note. If someone had you to dinner, you wrote a note. It was the height of bad manners not to make the effort to thank a person for the effort that they had gone to for your pleasure. It makes a lot of sense, really. But alas, out comes those shiny bits of glass again, and the most you can expect these days is a thanks. On Instagram or Snapchat, or Facebook if you're elderly. In other areas of society, manners were also far better than now. If you're invited to a meal at someone's house, you always reciprocated at a later date by inviting them to your own house or a restaurant. And if you did invite them to a restaurant, the person who invited the guest paid for everyone's meals. That's right, you didn't split the bill when you were the host, just as you don't charge your friends for the cost of the food when you cook at home. You shouldn't in a restaurant. Admittedly, things were a little different then. If you hosted, you might also have ordered a particular menu for everyone at the table so you could plan for the cost. But there is no reason you couldn't follow this nice old rule of good manners these days with real friends who you can presume won't take advantage of you. Number 4. Build. New construction regulations coupled with new building materials such as styrofoam, plastics, and various metals have meant that we can build houses much faster and more unconventionally than we have in the past. But the end result is sometimes buildings which simply cannot stand up to age, the weather, or natural disasters in the same way as old construction builds with stone and timber. One good example of this was the Christchurch earthquake in 2011. In that old city, 60% of the deaths were the result of the collapse of the modern CTV building, and while many of the old buildings were later condemned, they stood up to the earthquake better than those built with strict earthquake guidelines but new building codes. Next time there's a big one, I sure as heck hope I'm in an old Victorian building. Number 3. Teach and learn. The moment that colleges began to teach that there is no objective truth, they revoked their own remit to educate. If there is no objective truth, there is no reason to teach. You can watch video after video on YouTube of young university students who don't even know who Adolf Hitler was. I'm not even going to begin to describe a solution for this mess. It simply needs to be abolished. Number 2. Create art. There will be, in time, a list about modern art and its decline. Some would obviously not agree that it is indeed in decline. But until then, we shall content ourselves with the brief declaration, modern people don't know how to art. What passes as fine art these days is astonishingly bad. Bottles of human urine with sacred objects in them, excrement smeared on canvases, and even an unmade bed are lauded as fine things. Of all the items on this list, art is single-handedly the most extreme example of the differences between our ancestors and us. Pretty much all art up to the 1900s is beautiful, and some beyond in the early stages of the 20th century. But at some point we got sidetracked and art ceased to be about beauty and became about expression of novelty or shock. Number 1. Have fun. If future generations looked at Apple advertisements, they would believe that we lived in one of the most fun-filled times. The ads are full of laughing groups of diverse friends exploring all manner of fun hobbies. But the whole thing is contrived. The reality of our time is that we dutifully go to work, earn the money needed to take the occasional holiday, and spend a lot of time online. And then we lap up mainstream movie interpretations of the likes of Charles Dickens books filled with dour and ugly old women beating children and crippled men with misery in every line drawn across their face. Perhaps this allows us to be thankful we aren't them. Perhaps it lulls us with a false sense of comfort against the miserable parts of our own lives. But life for the Victorians and the generations before them was anything but bleak. They lived in a time of discovery and invention. museums opened to the public for the first time, and the Great Exhibition was held in a glittering Crystal Palace. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen now because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.